Floyd trying to pull up to even with him, but can't do it that time. There's a fine line to getting that momentum on exit into the corner, and Floyd just...
Laps is all that separates someone from this 24 car field from winning at Knoxville Raceway, which is, for tonight, the virtual street stock capital of the world. Rocky Battenfield is going to be leading us off here. Of course, this is not just a 30-lap feature, but if we have to go 50 minutes, and it is going to be 50 minutes, there's no longer than that. Here is the grid. Sage Luther is alongside Battenfield with JC Floyd in row number 2. Alongside him, Caden Reynolds, Brady Ehrman, and Ronald Piles in row 3. Brady Thompson, Ty Dickinson, row 4. Kyle Jarrett, who's currently in the lead of the championship, is in row 5 with Justin Hopkins as well in row 5. Miles Morse, Jacob Hayes, Billy Northcutt, Brunson Benning, Joshua Thomas, and Daniel Stifler round out row 8, the top 16 drivers there. Still 8 to go here, as we've got in row number 9, Kyle Ramsey, Tyler Jackson, John Quill and Clifford Bellamy, Logan Catellis, Isaac Salas, and Christopher Hill, and the last one in, Ian Good. And I can tell you one thing, he was good enough to make it into this field that's been really good right now, Mike Warren.
Dylan Coyle, I got a question for you.
What's up?
You ready for a shower of street stock power?
Ooh, baby, I'm ready.
It's going to be fun. 30 laps the distance. We're going to see who takes this home. It's been good racing all night, and we're going to see how this is going to be. Can JC Floyd go 4 in a row? We're going to find this out. He's 96 points out of first, and keep in mind, he has a very, 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 very good shot at taking second over time now that Hopkins did not make the show.
I'd almost say it is written in stone as long as Floyd stays clean in terms of his driving and stays out of any other trouble. Green flag out in the air, and we are underway here at Knoxville. 30-lap feature here tonight. Rocky Battenfield is in first with Sage Luther falling back. JC Floyd already in the second.
We're going to keep Battenfield up into that number 1 spot, looking to go the distance out front. JC Floyd in that number 2 spot as they come around to click off lap number 1. But it's the 97 holding on to that spot. And the quickest thing here might be patience a little bit. You see Sage Luther and Brady Ehrman sitting in 3rd and 4th. It's not really quite go time yet. Remember, you gotta hold off the damage a little bit here because they're maybe a little beating and banging before
Are you talking about Caden Reynolds running into the wall twice already?
I didn't see that. I was just speaking from my mind.
This track is so wide that even if you touch the wall on the entrance of 1 or the entrance of 3, you can still come back down to the apex and still get a huge run against these drivers that are running that inside line. Floyd and Battenfield already are breaking away from Sage Luther. Dean Reynolds saying to Jacob Hayes, stay off the wall. So I think there's a little bit of an exploit that wouldn't work necessarily in the real world where he runs the wall. But nonetheless, he's flying again.
We got one car showing a little bit of smoke also, it looks like, through the field, but they're holding on right now as they head down the back straightaway as the field continuing to work. It's all Battenfield out in front as they come down through turn number 3 and 4, though. Field continuing to work side by side as they come down the front straightaway as a good move as Luther going to lose that number 3 spot through turn number 1 and 2. Now Floyd going to get a move to the inside. He's going to look side by side on Battenfield as they head down the back straightaway. So they'll roll down to turn number 3 and 4.
Caution is out right before Floyd would have been maybe able to take away that top spot. And we'll have to see exactly where this wreck happened. I think it was just back in the field. John Quill, I think, was involved in it. Potentially Kyle Ramsey as well.
Battenfield and Floyd side by side. Again, Floyd, if you're just joining us, going for 4 straight victories here in the Dirt Car Esports League. But Rocky Battenfield so far has been strong for the challenge up front. Pace truck going to pull it off at turn number 3 and 4. We're going to go back to green flag racing here at Knoxville.
If Rocky Banfield can hold JC Floyd off, I think we might as well call him Rocky Balboa. Green flag back into the air right now, and he does get at least a car length in front. Right behind Floyd, though, there's a bit of a backup. Caden Reynolds right there, and he hits the inside left corner of JC Floyd.
Can't blame Floyd for wanting to go straight to the bottom, as I think that might be the fastest part of the racetrack for right now. He's gonna slide up a little bit. Reynolds gonna get into the left quarter panel. That's gonna send Floyd around, and the win for 4 straight might be over as they come down the front straightaway. Yellow gonna come out onto the speedway. And again, I'm not a betting man here, but I do think we may see an EOL being delivered.
Yeah, that was a little bit too risky, and if anything, this gives Floyd a chance to show he can still do something from the back of the field. There's still a lot of time left here in this race, but it's going to be hard. By the way, we're about to go to green flag racing again, as these drivers have gone back into double side lineup. That's not the word for it.
We'll file.
Why does it say double side lineup? Green flag.
I am not sure. Green
flag. I just have those moments. Rocky Banfield.
Battenfield's going to be your race leader. Ehrman going to go to that number 2 spot. Kyle Jarrett now going to take advantage. He'll look to go to 3rd as he rides down through the middle of the racetrack. So he goes from the middle to the high side, and I wonder if that high side may come in a little bit. I know the biggest spot on real estate's the bottom, but right now, it's all Battenfield out front as he continues to lead this one to put lap number 8 on the board.
The biggest thing that potentially could destroy any chance of a miracle JC Floyd championship season is Kyle Jarrett continuously running well. Kyle Jarrett has done so much good this year without even picking up a win.
He has been consistent each and every week here in the Dirt Car Esports League as he'll roll off a turn number 3 and 4 this time. Right now, it's still Battenfield, Ehrman. Then it's the 45 machine of Jarrett. Sage Luther holding on to 4th, and rounding out your top 5 right now is Justin Hopkins, but he's going to feel pressure from Jacob Hayes as they come to the inside, and looks like Brunson Benning, who picked up the win of that last chance showdown earlier. So a lot of racing for real estate here as we approach the 1/3 mark of this feature event, but right now it's been all Rocky Battenfield as he's going to fly now out front.
Ehrman is going to see as Kyle Jarrett goes down the inside of him into turn 1. Will Jarrett be able to pull off anything here? He goes down low. It's not going to have the momentum, and they're still going to be side by side. Quill wants a caution. There's a lap car in front of this group of leaders here, so I guess something else happened and nothing was thrown by the iRacing system.
Green flag continues to roll down the front straightaway as this side-by-side battle for second continues to go. We'll see how the drivers sort the front, navigate the slower traffic dead ahead of your race leaders, but right now Battenfield getting a little separation as Sage Luther licking his chops in there in 4th. Sees a side-by-side battle between Jarrett and Ehrman. Jarrett going to slide up a little bit, but doesn't pull the full slider, but Luther going to close right in on the bottom, looking for a little daylight on the bottom of the racetrack.
This is allowing some drivers from 5th on back to get involved. Jacob Hayes is sliding in with some ferocity here, as right behind him, it's a whole group of drivers under a blanket. So we might soon see the top 4 be more like a top 12.
Points night right now as the feature would end how it is today. Kyle Jarrett in 2nd, currently JC Floyd in 13th. You're scoring at home, and he just got in a little bit of a tangle. His car's beating and banging a little bit down the front straightaway, but he picked up a spot on Stifler. As you're looking at that on your screen right now, he'll pull right back in front as the car trying to work his way back up through the field is also Caden Reynolds. So you see their drivers trying to make their way up as we head to the halfway point. Here we're just about 15 and 15 to go, but it's all Rocky Battenfield up front, but they're still all over the place. And we got that car out of shape. Grady Ehrman, who was having a top 3 run, going to go around, and that's going to bring Yellow onto the speedway. And the benefactor of that one might have been the 37 of Bronson Benning.
I'm trying to look at the replay here. Ehrman went down low, hit the lip, slowed it down, and kind of got ran into, and it was just an accordion effect. I don't know how you can say that's anything other than a racing incident.
Yeah, it's a tough battle. You see Luther was the one that finally sent him around, and cars went around behind it, but it's a it's a tough break. You're all fighting for the real estate. Unfortunately, that does happen when you're doing that, but again, now Rocky Battenfield's probably going to have his toughest test yet on the outside of him is Kyle Jarrett, who got a great restart last time, is going to line up right to the outside.
You know, something interesting about this whole thing is that Knoxville, with being such a wide track, the lines really aren't that wide. There's not too many lines. You can run up right up against the wall and come down to the apex of 2 and 4. But it seems like a lot of guys really want to be as close to the lip as possible. Remember what I was saying before with all the sprint car drivers really trying to get that one front left tire on that lip? Well, it looks like a lot of the same is happening right here.
Well, the biggest thing is you think the way Knoxville, if you take a quick look at it, you think it would be speed, right? In this case, though, not so much. It's more momentum than you think it is, especially with these street stocks. And, you know, since this is an equal setup all across the board, it's whoever can get the right momentum, get your foot in, and just keep the momentum rolling around the racetrack. And it's been the case so far. And Kyle Jarrett has probably been the best of momentum out of everybody, and that's why he sits there in the race in the point lead right now. But it's the same thing with Battenfield. He's at clean air the entire time.
And any lost momentum is going to affect you for multiple laps in front.
That is true. So it's really getting the right positioning, but at the same time, you gotta be smart. And we're also getting to the point where you gotta go. I know we're at the halfway point, but I think you're gonna see a few cars trying to thread the needle just a little bit more compared to the first 10 laps of this race.
100%. I'm listening to what Dean Reynolds was saying, basically saying what we said, that it's a racing incident. And there's not much that can be done there.
So 14 complete, 16 to go.
One to go at the line, by the way. And don't look now, but JC Floyd's showing as 12th.
He's been coming. But still a lot of time here in this one. And right now, I got a hard time believing. I'm going to make a prediction.
Let's hear it.
I don't think Kyle Jarrett's going to finish worse than second.
I was going to say it's going to be a battle between Jared and I was going to say Ehrman, but I think Jared is going to be the one that's going to be the winner out of the Battenfield battle, if that does come.
And I know it may sound like I'm going out on a limb there. I just like the way he's been driving all night. I think he's been smooth enough where he can hold on to that position. Now, that being said, anything can happen because, hey, it's racing. But meanwhile, we're about at the halfway point, Dylan Coyle. We're going to head back to green. It's Battenfield and Jarrett up in the front of the field.
Going to be 16 laps to go. Once this pace truck pulls off like it just does, Kyle Jarrett, not a great start for him as Battenfield gets ahead with a huge jump right there. And all of a sudden, it's a bit of a mess from second on back.
Good job by Battenfield. He actually pulled out and tried to take Jarrett's line away. He didn't realize he didn't have to do it in that situation, but he went right back to the bottom. Meanwhile, keep an eye on this battle for third. Sage Luther trying to hold off Jacob Hayes, but you see Benning right behind them looking for a little daylight on the inside lane. Patience may be the key here. They got to look for spots to open up, but at the same time, we're running out of time here as we move toward the third of this feature.
JC Floyd's in 11th. I don't want me to keep counting him out or counting him in, but like he's flying.
He's flying actually up to 9th now. That time he almost went around, and tough break because the one car of Reynolds got into him just a little bit. Reynolds went back a few positions, so now the 18 of Floyd going to go back to the top of the racetrack, see if he can find any bit of momentum as Battenfield continues to hold on to the race lead up front. But take a look at this battle. I'll tell you what, Stifler out back, they're all going at it for position. Floyd trying to get the momentum around Stifler this time and try to take that position away.
This is quite exciting. Battenfield still holds the lead with Kyle Jarrett breaking away from Sage Luther just a bit. Still, like you said, lots of battling. Floyd still battling for that 9th position right now, and it looks like he and Daniel Stifler have kind of stalled out with the amount of speed that can go. There's a lot of blinkers apparently in the back, so that's not fun for anyone fighting back there.
Field going to work through turn number 1 and 2 as it's Rocky Battenfield, 3-car length separating the top 2 drivers. And we got a car around. That's going to be Jacob Hayes. As he just do a 360 and keep it rolling?
He did.
Very impressive, but Yellow's still going to get out. You see Benning just getting into him, and I'm kind of wondering they come off the corner. We'll take a look at the replay here in just a second. As you can see it on your screen, Price and Luther touch, and it just sent him to the inside, and that's going to be a tough break for the 9 car.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those incidents you can put 60-40 blame on something, but goodness me, still would not want to be. Jacob Hayes is saying all me, so.
Yeah, Hayes kind of got out of shape, got into Luther, and at that point, I don't know why I said Price there, but Hayes took control of that one, and it just the way it kind of shaped out, you could see Benning had almost nowhere to go in that situation, as he was just holding his line, trying to grab the momentum.
Yeah, just trying to hold your line there, and obviously Hayes is given that EOL, but Dean said he just got in a little bit too hot, which I think we all saw there. So it's kind of a racing incident that has the fault of one of the drivers involved. Nothing too crazy. Grady Urban asking John Quill to check if he's got a flat tire. Quill says he does not, and they continue on. Look at Tyler Jackson.
He's patiently working his way up through the field. Now these restarts are going to be even more important, though, because you saw there wasn't that much jockeying for position once we got through to the green. As we talk about Jackson, Floyd's still up to 9th, so keep an eye on him as well.
Question is, are we going back to green flag racing the next time? Yep, they're going double file right here. It's always, as Dean says, let's bring it home. I don't think they're bringing it home on a green flag run right here. I'll say that for sure. With 11 laps to go once we go back to green flag racing. Are you optimistic with Dean right there, Mike?
Nolan, yeah, have you not learned one thing from me on the road? I'm always optimistic.
Oh, that's true. You are always optimistic. I'm always pessimistic.
You said that, not me, but we're going back to green flag racing.
You've said it before.
Battenfield's going to bring them down the front straightaway. We're back to green flag racing here, 11 laps to go.
Green flag racing. Battenfield in front. Kyle Jarrett just behind him, but not by much. A lot of drivers on back are going 2 wide, some 3 wide in the midfield. But this is probably the closest Jarrett has ever been to Battenfield.
I'll tell you, who got a great restart right there was the one at Caden Reynolds. He jumped around a number of cars as they come off the corner. He's rolling right through the middle of the racetrack, and he's now up to 7th on that last lap. But Jared now all over Battenfield, looking to try to find a way around him as he goes to the outside, looking to hold his momentum down the backstretch. But Battenfield has stayed smooth. He's held his line the entire time, and that's why he's led the first 21 of these as they come by this time with 9 laps left to go.
So many of these drivers are fighting for position. There's just no supreme way around these corners if you are in a pile of other drivers. You want to get your own line and you want some clean air. I mean, no one really, except for Battenfield, has the ability to do that right now.
That is the case here as we approach the closing stages of this feature event. Battenfield's been right there, but I'll tell you what, I got to give Jared some credit. He's almost stuck like glue to that back bumper of the 97 car, but hasn't touched him at the same time as they're doing a great job battling for the spot. Sage Luther right there as well. Good run by Brunson Benning. I want to make sure we talk about him as he came from the last chance showdown. I believe the 14th starting position. He's up to spot number 4. And keep an eye, he's going to try to go to the inside as Luther hooked the berm in turn number 1 and 2. That's going to open the door for the 37 car.
Oh, big chance for him right there. He's going to potentially get, yes, he does get clear into 3rd. This could be a Brunson Benning battle with Kyle Jarrett and Battenfield, who are side by side.
Jared finally found the daylight he was looking for here as we cross with 6 laps left to go. Jarrett to the inside as he gets Battenfield up just a little bit through the lane. They're wheel to wheel, neck and neck, door to door, down the front straightaway. It's still Battenfield at the line, but Jared working to the inside lane in turn number 1 and 2. He's going to find the momentum on the bottom. He'll take the race lead away.
Swap over, though. Look at this move right here. Battenfield is going to go down the inside, going into 3 and 4, and take that position back. Meanwhile, Brunson Benning is coming right towards them.
What a move by Battenfield to go right back up the bottom. But now here, and there you go. Yellow out onto the speedway. Oh, that was tough. And the question is, and it looks like, who scored the leader? That's a question we got to figure out.
Great question. I think it's going to be Battenfield by 300ths.
Ooh.
Yeah. JC Floyd last up to 8th. Tyler Jackson in 7th from 18th.
Been an interesting race, but the battle for the front of this one here, we will have 5 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing. We saw Jared can do it, but the question is, can he do it again?
I mean, that's just a rough break right there, but sometimes that's just the rules of Dirt racing, you know, you got to be around, and it's the driver who had the position at the end of the lap that the last lap that you finished. It's just the way it is.
I know we've gone back to this many times about that lip on the inside lane in Knoxville, but you saw it happen with Sage Luther and it allowed Brunson Benning to get by on the inside lane. You have to hit that just right. You are flirting with disaster, Molly Hatchet style, on the inside lane. You miss that daylight's open and the car behind you is going to drive right underneath.
I guess the devil went down to Iowa. You're flirting with the devil right down there.
Yeah, you could definitely say that, but
you could.
Basically, you got to hit it just right. And I did not see exactly if that's the same thing that happened with Battenfield. If he holds up in that top three, we'll have to ask him after the race is over. But that opened the door for Jared, and I think Jared's going to put just as much pressure on him here with just 5 to go. But the question is there enough time for him to grab that momentum on the inside to get by him?
I think it's going to have to come in the last 2 laps. And if he makes a mistake, it's almost over. Because remember what I was saying earlier about the momentum being a thing where it's that distance, and we're going back to green flag racing right now with single file actually. So we're back underway with Rocky Battenfield and Kyle Jarrett, the top 2, and Jared, like you said, stuck on him like glue.
In a weird way, this helps Kyle Jarrett out a lot more going to this single file restart. Now you want to be in that number 2 spot as they'll roll down the back straightaway into turn number 3 and 4. It's all Battenfield. He's got to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. And you see he's up about an inch higher off in turn number 4, but he caught the berm just a little bit. Is that going to allow Jarrett to get by as we hit 4 to go?
Jared's going to be on the outside, but look who's with him. It's Benning. Benning is right there as well. Could he win this race?
It's going to be interesting to see that, though, as they work down the back straightaway, as J.C. Floyd has worked his way up the sticks. Just want to keep an eye on that. But working on the outside lane, though, is Jared Battenfield on the inside, though, still holding on. Can Jared get the momentum? Keep an eye on that momentum down the front straightaway as they just crossed the flag stand here with 3 laps left to go. Time may be running out, but now Benning going to make a move to the quarter panel on the inside.
Yeah, but look at the momentum that Jared might have had. He has the speed. He's going to fly by, just barely get kept. Oh, he kind of pushed his Battenfield down to the lip. That was a little bit naughty.
Hey, you're all fighting for real estate this time as we come down 2 laps left to go at the line. It's going to be the 97, but not by much. But Benning trying to stick his nose in there as well. It's going to be Battenfield sliding up the racetrack, trying to take the lane away. Benning caught the lip big time off at turn number 2 as they come down the back straightaway.
Floyd's up to 5th. This is ridiculous. Battenfield and Jared. Those are the 2. Jared slides way up high, though. Is that going to help or hurt him?
White flag out onto the speedway now. 1 lap left to go as the 97 car leads this one. Benning going to work to the bottom, trying to find the momentum. He'll take the 2nd spot away. Does he have it up off of 2? A little bit of touching, and Jarrett gets into the back bumper. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Keep an eye on Benning.
Benning goes down off the lip. Look at Jared down the inside. We're 3 wide at the last corner. Who's going to have the momentum? Who's going to have the time? It's going to be a photo finish. The winner is Rocky Battenfield by 0.02 of a second, and Benning just a further 15 thousandths behind. Unreal.
What a battle and what a finish. Arguably one of the best finishes in dirt car esports history. And I'll tell you what, Dylan Coyle, if you're not entertained after that one, I don't know what to tell you. What a feature.
That was ridiculously fun. A photo op is going to be happening right here between the top 3, and then we get to ask all of them. And I'll tell you what, how do you even ask someone about losing for 2nd and 3rd by that much?
I think if I know Kyle Jarrett, the way he's ran this year, he's probably smiling from ear to ear a little bit after that one. And same with Benning, because he found some daylight late in that race to have a chance to win that. And I think they'll take it, no question about it.
Unbelievable. Mike, I'll take the 1st and 3rd. You take the 2nd of whoever comes in. This will be fun once we actually get to talk to them, because my goodness, what a highlight package we've got there.
Oh, that was awesome.
Well, we are joined by Kyle Jarrett, losing by just 0.02 of a second. You haven't had a win this year yet, but you came very close. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, that was a pretty fun finish there. I figured I'd try and bust it down to the bottom. I seen they left the door open just a little bit, and just tried forcing it in there. And luckily we came up a little short.
you had to be wondering the whole time if there was going to be any contact between the top three, but it seemed like it was pretty fair racing. Are you happy with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Rocky's always, fun to race with. He's, always dominant here. So, just another top five and try and be as consistent we can on the rest of the way out for the points, and just look forward to next week.
All right, next week, Weed Sport. We'll see you there. Best of luck and congratulations on the second place finish.
Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Mike, will pass it on to you. Whoever comes into the booth next. We don't have anybody else in the waiting room right now, so we might wait a few more seconds before we see potentially Rocky or Brunson come in. But what a finish, man.
What a finish that definitely was. And I tell you what, you can't ask for that, for much better of a finish. And, you had three guys jockeying for the spot, trying to get the momentum as they come to the checkered flag. And I'll tell you what, Dylan, I don't know if we can beat that. I really don't at this point.
I don't think you can. That was quite wild. I'm looking at some of the chat right here, and I love seeing what everybody is saying. One person says that they physically jumped out of their seat, probably the best iRacing finish they've seen in a minute. So pretty exciting that we had to, I'll tell you one thing, this should be in the iRacing top 10, this finish.
We got our winner from this one, Rocky Battenfield, joining us now. Rocky, I think a sigh of relief after that one, as that was a wild last couple of laps for you.
Woo, I tell you what, I am sweating bullets right now. That was so much fun.
Now for you, with those last couple of restarts, you saw Kyle finally get a little bit on the inside. I think, was it your goal the whole time to just make sure you were riding just a little bit north of that lip the entire time and not let them get daylight?
Yeah, I figured if I could just hold the bottom, I would be okay. But I mean, Kyle was even getting a pretty good run on that, just on the outside of me. But he'd catch me a little bit in the right rear going into 3 and really tighten me up. But man, that finish, how about that?
It was awesome. Now, Kyle had just mentioned when he was with us a few seconds ago that this is your wheelhouse. Knoxville is one of your favorite tracks, and to get a big win like this here, I know it's got to feel pretty good too.
Yeah, this has always been one of my favorite tracks, and car runs so good here, and I have a pretty good knack for the bottom. I felt like I was probably second or third best right there at the end, but I was able to hold them off.
All right, Rocky. Well, congratulations, my friend, on a well-earned victory tonight. Definitely take a break and enjoy this one for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it back next week. Yeah, I appreciate Dirt Car having this, and I definitely want to throw my spotter out there, Mike Augustine. He was keeping me calm and cool the whole race there, and all my boys over at CFM. Man, I can't do any of this stuff without them. They're so much help.
All right, Rocky, congratulations again to Rocky Battenfield, picking up a wild victory here tonight at Knoxville. He picks up his first win of the 2022-23 season here with the Dirt Car Esports.
What a fantastic finish. I don't think we've got Brunson Benning with us. So, my goodness, Mike, very fair to call him Rocky Balboa with that run right there. That was heroic.
It was, and I'll tell you what, he went the distance, no question about that.
Yes.
And what a battle that was. And I tell you what, like I said, Dylan, I'm still breathtaking away from that one.
I can't wait to watch the replay right there. But look at the upcoming events. We've got 3 races in 2 weeks. That's it. Weed Sport next week, and then the dirt track at Charlotte and Williams Grove on the same night, January 25th. That will be a massive program. The points will be updated on the Dirt Car Esports website in short order, but that was just loads of fun. And like I said, if that's not in the iRacing top 10, then we've done something wrong.
It is definitely, my friend. Well, it was good to work with you as well once again, sir, as we get ready to go. 3 races left to go with the 2023 season.
3 races left, and next week, of course, is not only Weed Sport, but it's also the start of the World of Outlaws Case Construction Equipment Late Model Series in the Sunshine Nationals. Hopefully it's sunny down there this year.
Great.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for watching on the Dirt Car Esports Twitch and YouTube channels. For now, so long, good night, and good racing.
This has been a presentation of Dirt Vision, a World Racing Group property. To get information about upcoming broadcasts, visit us on social media or at dirtvision.com.
Dirt Vision is home to all the greatest shows on dirt. World of Outlaws sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at dirtvision.com.
Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
You wanted the best, you got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws! World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is available now.
The greatest shows on dirt have the best fan gear in motorsports. Show your support for World of Outlaws sprints and late models. Go to worldofoutlaws.com and make your way to the Buy Now section in the upper right corner. You'll find hats, shirts, hoodies, and other great souvenirs for all fans. Spend $50 or more to get free shipping. Shop anytime at worldofoutlaws.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 8 of the World of Outlaws CARQUEST Auto Parts Sprint Car Series, powered by iRacing. We are at Knoxville Raceway, the capital of sprint cars, getting ready to go green for this exciting round. With only 3 rounds to go, this one is going to be pivotal in the championship chase. Tim Terry, Chase Rodman here to call the racing action for you. We had Timothy Smith break through 1 week ago to get to victory lane. Finally, we'll see who gets into the hallowed ground here this evening, Chase.
Yeah, this place has been on the schedule every single year since the inception of this series back in 2018, has provided multiple different winners along with those years, and we expect to see a great race here tonight. We've seen some wild action from this place, whether it's the sprint cars or the late models. We've seen fuel mileage come into play for wins here at this place as well. So Knoxville Raceway, as you mentioned, the sprint car capital of the world, not Knoxville, Tennessee, but Knoxville, Iowa, right here tonight for the World of Outlaws CARQUEST Auto Parts Sprint Car Series.
We are inching closer to that series finale at the dirt track at Charlotte. 10 consecutive Monday evenings, and we've seen our ups and downs of who has been at the front, who has been making a hard charge here in the last couple of weeks. And after everything is all said and done, when we come to these point standings, Timothy Smith, he's been racking off really good finishes and finds himself at the top, getting ready to see what he can do in these final 3 rounds.
Yeah, and he's held up to the pressure all the way through. Came in last week at Cedar Lake with a 2-point lead over Alex Bergeron. It was those two that duked it out for the victory there. Smith held on for his first win and extended that point lead out to 5. Tyler Schell still within striking distance, no doubt, back there, 33 points behind James Edens, Kendall Tucker, the top 5, but things are also getting tight for that relegation mark there. Tyler Ducharme, 15th place right now. If he can hang on to that at the end of the dirt track at Charlotte, he would hold on to his pro license for next season, but Logan Rumsey and Adam Elby pretty close back there.
And you look at the bottom of that, Clayton Tilley, Blake Majulis, 2 very capable drivers, but they've got to be on it in the next 3 weeks and maybe hope for a mistake out of somebody in that top 15. But that is the third line, as you mentioned, of the drivers that are ahead. Timothy Smith obviously doesn't have to worry about relegation. He has to worry about Alex Bergeron behind him for the championship chase. We had to this Knoxville Raceway. What do we expect out of this racetrack tonight?
Well, like we mentioned, Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world, home to the biggest, probably arguably the biggest sprint car race of the year, biggest dirt race of the year, the Knoxville Nationals. So many drivers that are well known have won at this race. Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz, the list goes on and on of drivers who have put their name in the history books as winners of the Knoxville Nationals. Alex Bergeron, the winner here back in 2022. He's a 3-time winner with the series here at this place. Built in 1901, 21,000 people. And this place, Tim, right in the middle of town in the small town of Knoxville, Iowa. During the Knoxville Nationals, this place goes from about a population of 3,000 to about 25,000 people that show up to this place right there in the middle of August, and we're excited to see what this place can provide for us tonight.
And you can see off the back of the shot there, the cars going back and forth on the road. So definitely a great little place to come and watch a race. We're getting ready to see one here this evening. 4 heat races going to set up our field, and here comes the first one. Look at Tyler Ducharme.
Yeah, Ducharme with a very good qualifying effort tonight. He is the driver out of Beaumassine, Vermont for Slick Sim Sport in car number 25, and behind him a winner here with the World of Outlaws late models on 2 different occasions. The driver is Evan C. out of Chesney, South Carolina for CFM Esports. Row number 2, another World of Outlaws late model series winner here at Knoxville. It's Kendall Tucker, the driver out of Mount Airy, North Carolina for Swindell Speed Lab Esports in the 00. And behind him, the 127, Blake Majulis. He is the driver out of Jamestown, New York for CFM Esports. Row number 3 on the inside, the 74 car, Adam Elby. He's out of Tracy, California for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. He's got a couple top 5 finishes here at Knoxville. Outside of him is his teammate, the 52 car, James Edens. He's out of Santa Rosa, California for Swindell Speed Lab Esports. He is the 2019 winner here at Knoxville. Row number 4, the 42 car, Paul Bryan out of Little Mountain, Queensland, Australia for Man Up Sim Racing. Outside of him, the 18 car, Austin Selman for Tony Stewart Racing out of Brookfield, Wisconsin. And your final starter for this one, the 07 car out of Sevierville, Tennessee. That is Hayden Cardwell, going to drop off from the tail end of the field here. No qualifying effort tonight for Hayden Cardwell, so he will have to come from 9th, and he will have 10 laps to try and get into the top 4 and make tonight's feature event.
So if you're new to the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series powered by iRacing, we are going to run 4 heat races, 10 laps each. We're going to take the top 4 from each of those heat races, move them directly to the 35-lap feature. 2 last chance showdowns for those that do not make it through the heats, 12 laps each. Top 2 will make it through there. That'll give us a 20-car feature for 35 laps. There are no cautions in the heats and the LCQs, and caution laps do not count in the feature for 35 laps coming up later this evening. So fast and furious as we take a look at Victory Lane and see what's going to go on. There's the driver wall. Some happy faces so far. There's a couple of puzzle faces there too. Is it Loic Bernier kind of focused in on the action? Is it, well, maybe focused in on his phone chase as we get ready to go.
Yeah, I feel like you could tell kind of who's in this heat race and who's watching from the sidelines here right now. A couple of these guys kind of messing around, maybe looking at their phone. I don't see Dylan Yeager on there playing the guitar this weekend, but a lot of these guys on that screen right there getting themselves ready, prepared for this 10-lap heat race and trying to put themselves into tonight's feature event. James Edens at the bottom of the screen, like I mentioned earlier, 2019 winner here in Knoxville. He's got to pick up at least 2 spots as he will roll off from the 6th position. And there's a good look at some of the race cars right there. There's a good look at this racetrack. And, man, you talk about this championship, Tim, things are getting close. Timothy Smith, 5-point lead over Alex Bergeron, but coming into a track that is arguably Bergeron's best of his career, 3 wins here, not only in the sprint car, he's got one with the late model as well. Timothy Smith will be put to the test here tonight.
Absolutely. He's been put to the test every week so far, and we haven't seen a whole lot of weakness except for leading the most laps and not winning a race up until last week when he finally got it done. So we'll see if he can continue the trend of leading laps here in this series. But field has rolled out for that first heat race, and Ducharme and C on the front row going to lead this one to green next time by the stripe. And we'll see what Kendall Tucker can do from position number 3. We mentioned Blake Majulis off the top. If he wants to get in that top 15, he's got to start rolling off some good finishes. He'll roll off from 4th here in this heat.
Yeah, Majulis not really had the season that he has, really wanted. I mean, a lot of last chance showdown appearances. He's been in the last chance showdown 4 times at least and did not make it out. Best finish this year was a 6th place run, and that was a couple weeks ago back at Fairbury. Other than that, 2 8th place runs. And then, like I mentioned, 4 appearances in LCQs, not able to transfer out. So Majula's been a tough season for the driver out of Jamestown, New York, the former World of Outlaws late model series champion here on iRacing. But this place has been good to him in the past, and we expect to see him be a front runner, a contender for the victory here tonight, especially with that great starting spot.
And after last week, Kenny Hoffman making the show, we have no drivers that have not made a feature so far this season. So everybody's had a shot at glory. We'll see what they can do in the final 3 rounds. This is round number 8, and we're already green. Tyler Ducharme on it early, and he is going to pick up the advantage. Tucker going to go to second as C tries to roll the top.
Yeah, look at Evan C. Oh, a little wiggle off the corner there, nearly gets into Tucker, and he'll slot back into the 3rd spot. Tucker runs in 2nd, C in 3rd, and Majulis is now into 4th with James Edens hot on his heels down the front straightaway. Lap number 1 is complete, and it's led by the number 25 of Tyler Ducharme.
Edens a couple of wins to his credit this season, trying to get into a transfer position in this heat, but so far the top 4, top 5 or so, and look at the whole field, single file in a train, except for Cardwell at the back. As these drivers wind their way through 1 and 2, we have 2 laps completed.
What do they call that in F1? The DRS train here is what we're seeing early on in the heat race number 1 at Knoxville. But what we're going to see here towards the end is I think a couple guys entering it on the top in, 4 in the fluff, I guess you could say, and then turning it down the hill, kind of what Majulis did right there to gain some speed down the straightaways. That might be able to work into his advantage here by the end of this race as Majulis trying to put a little gap between himself and Edens, but there you're right on board with Edens. He's sticking right with him, 1 spot out of a transfer.
And you can see in front of him a couple of different lines as they work around here. Blake Majulis trying to get down to the inside in the middle of the corner, and the drivers in front of him in the 3 and 4 area, a little bit higher on the entry, and then Majulis able to cut it down and now go to the inside as he battles with James Edens looking for a hole here to try to find one more spot.
Now the teammates racing for that 3rd position. Evan C. back to the inside of Blake Majulis. They are teammates for CFM Esports up front for the lead as well. Getting a little bit interesting there as Kendall Tucker, the back bumper of Tyler Ducharme. Race for 3rd and a race for the lead, and now a race for 5th behind him between the teammates of Adam Elby and James Edens. We don't have enough cameras to cover all the action as they take the lead. Tucker takes it away from Ducharme for a moment.
And Tucker trying to get back at Ducharme as they go out. Oh, hello, Evan C. a part of this battle as well. 3 cars battling for the top spot in the late laps of this one. 3 laps remaining at Knoxville in heat race number 1, and these guys are putting on a show.
Great stuff at the front of the field. Top 3 break away from the 4th place car of Majulis. Now Tucker tries to roll the bottom on the exit at turn number 2, gets some grip, looks to the inside of Ducharme, can't make the pass, and now Evan C. in the back bumper of Tucker. He'll look to the inside off of turn number 4 for the 2nd spot. Evan C.'s coming to life late in this one. White flag is out.
Final lap in this one, and Blake Majulis trying to close in and pull away from Adam Elby in 5th and the rest of the field. But up in front, Tyler Ducharme looking pretty sporty. He'll come through and collect the checkered flag in heat race number 1. C. Tucker Majulis, top 4. They will work their way into the main event later on this evening. Adam Elby, James Edens, Austin Selman, Paul Bryant, and Hayden Cardwell complete your field in heat race number 1. 1 in the books, heat race number 2 coming up.
Here is the lineup for this one on the pole. The driver out of Morgantown, Pennsylvania. That's the M9 Sim Sport entry of Kenny Miller III in car number 23. Outside of him, it's the driver out of Brandon, Florida. Car number 16 driven by Sean English. Run number 2 on the inside, the 14. That's J.D. Brown out of Bakersfield, California for Slick Sim Sport. And outside of him, currently 3rd in the point standings, the 85 of Tyler Schell out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania for Elbows Up Sim Sport. Run number 3 on the inside, it's going to be Bryce Lucius. He's out of Findlay, Ohio. And Lucius with a new team this weekend for Elite Performance Industries. Outside of him, the 174, Loic Bernier from Victoriaville, Quebec, Canada for Slick Sim Sport. Row number 4 on the inside, the number 16 car. That'll be Blake Giglio for M9 Sim Sport out of Williamson, New York. And on the outside of him, your 8th starter, the number 1 car, Mason Hannigan for Black Diamond Motorsports out of Pittsboro, Indiana. Final starter for this one, the number 11 car. That's Kenny Hoffman for Momentum Sim Sport out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Once again, 9 cars, 10 laps, and the top 4 moving on to the feature. If you're not in the top 4, you will be running one of the last chance showdowns.
And you don't want to be stuck in one of those because we've seen the last couple of weeks they have been stacked with talent. You don't want to roll the dice on that one, as you see Kenny Miller in the 23 lined up on the inside there on the pole position. J.D. Brown's had a couple of really good runs these last couple of weeks as well. Will line up to the inside of row number 2, and a couple of other cars hopping in. If you want to get your iRacing career started and get on the racetrack, maybe compete in some of these dirt cars, or maybe go pavement racing or road racing, whatever your fancy is, you can find it here at iRacing.com. Head over and get your career started today, and who knows, you may be able to see yourself in this series in an upcoming round. And for more information on this series, how to get involved, schedule, standings, the drivers, the spotter guide, the roster, they got a full complete package over at iRacing.com/WOOSC. Head over there and check out the standings, see where your favorite driver is running coming into the final 3 rounds, and put a paint scheme and a face to a name over there as well as these drivers get ready to roll off for this second heat race this evening.
Hey, take a look at the prizes right there. $10,000 to the champion. If you're watching this for the very first time, like, oh man, this is just some cartoon racing, yada yada. No, this is the real deal. This is sim racing. These guys have steering wheels, pedals in their hand, on their feet, and they are racing for real life money. $10,000 to the champion, all the way back to $200 for 10th place, and then we got nightly prizes as well, $300, $200, and $100 for the podium every single race for throughout this 10-race series. And it's also been recently announced that the champion of this series, as we normally see them, they go to Charlotte for the World Finals. They get recognized on stage there at the World Finals. But this year, a little bit of a change with the different, season here. We're running during the winter time instead of, kind of in the summertime and the fall time. The champion will actually be recognized at this year's Dirt Car Nationals in February. They will get a bunch of stuff. They'll get recognized on stage. They'll get VIP passes to 2 races for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. And as an added bonus, Tim, they'll actually get to hang out with me a little bit as well.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty neat, and especially Florida in February is a warm time to get down and enjoy some great racing. So somebody is going to have the time of their life, and not only at the racetrack, they're going to be able to collect a check at the same time too. So we'll see who gets the leg up here this evening and gets just that little bit closer to Volusia in February. Our field's getting ready to come to green. Keep your eye on Kenny Miller. He is a control car. He is gone. Green flag flies. We are underway in heat race number 2. And there goes the 14 to the inside, and J.D. Brown will pick up second.
Not a good start at all for the number 60 car of Sean English. Started outside the front row, is now challenging for a 4th spot. Now loses another one. He's back into the 6th position, so Sean English sleeping on the start. Contact in front of him, car to the infield wall. Loic Bernier, and I don't know who the other driver was, but upside down in a huge way. We stay green, and I believe that was Bryce Lucius, the other car involved.
Yeah, hard hit for those two. They will have to come through a last chance showdown. No cautions in these heat races. Battle for position number 4 continues to heat up. Sean English and Mason Hannigan, along with Blake Giglio, I believe, back there trying to make something happen at the end of this train. And for the final couple of spots, there's English on your screen in the middle as you ride on board with Mason Hannigan. He needs 1 in order to get into the feature.
Yeah, keeping one eye on this race for 4th and one eye on Tyler Schell. Remember, he came in 33 points behind the top 2 in the standings. He is running in the 3rd spot right now. Later on in these heat races, his championship rival Smith starts on the pole. Bergeron starts 2nd, so Schell's got to get every spot he can to try and maintain that point gap here as Hannigan is looking to catch up to Sean English. It's just, right now, the track is pretty even for everybody, and Hannigan not able to make up much time.
Valuable championship points in these heat races as well, so they have to be up on the wheel. It might not seem like a whole lot, but when that points battle's 5 points, you need to get everyone that you can, as the 85 of Schell trying to get up here and battle for the lead, as Miller might have got the wall a little bit there off of the corner. The 14 of J.D. Brown goes low and tries to get this lead away.
And it's exactly what Schell needed. He closes in quickly on the back bumper of J.D. Brown as they roll back into turns 3 and 4, gets single filed back out, but Brown looks to be a little bit faster here than Kenny Miller. As they work down the front straightaway, Miller runs the middle. Oh, Brown hit the wall in the entry to turn number 1, and now Schell is in his back pocket as they work down the back straightaway, next time by 2 laps to go.
And Sean English closing in on this battle, and Mason Hannigan not too far off either. Should any of these drivers make one small slip, it could change who we take to the feature. Is J.D. Brown trying to get down to that inside, almost got that wall off the last corner, but trying to make this move to make it happen. As you ride on board, you see Tyler Schell, J.D. Brown up the hill trying to get Kenny Miller for that lead.
And I like that move right there. I talked about it there in that last heat race. Run the top in turn number 1, get the run down the hill, down the back straightaway. J.D. Brown just not close enough to make it happen here as they come through 3 and 4 for the final time. Brown, one last-ditch effort off the inside, but Kenny Miller is going to win heat race number 2.
And it wasn't without pressure from J.D. Brown. J.D. Brown holds on to position number 2. Tyler Schell going to complete your top 3 with Sean English also transferring. And you look at Sean, it's been a rough season for that 60 car, so good to see him make one of these main events. Mason Hannigan, Blake Giglio, Kenny Hoffman, Loic Bernier, and Bryce Lucius complete your field. 2 heats down, 2 to go. Heat race number 3 coming up after this.
Racing isn't easy. but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing is available now.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts and by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
Welcome back to Knoxville. 2 heat races in the books so far for round number 8. Heat race number 3 set to get on the grid. Chase, who's in this one?
On the pole of this one is the car number 48, driven by Dylan Yeager. He is out of Hamilton Township, New Jersey for CFM Esports, and outside of him, the number 12 car, the 2-time series champion at Drummondville, Quebec, Canada's Alex Bergeron for Team ABR Setup Shop. Row number 2 on the inside, number 20 car, that'll be Aiden Forster out of Cass City, Michigan for Momentum Sim Sport, and outside of him is the number 4 car. That is going to be Ross Kaiser, the driver out of San Jose, California, also driving for Momentum Sim Sport. Row 3 on the inside, the driver out of Lemoore, California, that's the 49 of Ryan Avila for Momentum Sim Sport, and outside of him is the 13 car Aiden Beerline for Team ABR Setup Shop out of Woodford, Virginia. Row 4, the number 39 car, that'll be Andrew Heffer out of Watertown, Wisconsin for Momentum Simsport, and outside of him is the 51 car Clayton Tilley, your final starter, the driver out of Bibber Lake, Western Australia for Momentum Simsport. 8 cars, 10 laps, top 4 moving on to tonight's feature event. Heat race number 3 out of 4. And quickly, these heat races are going by and haven't really had many incidents. Just that one with Loic Bernier in that, I believe, the second heat race. But other than that, really have been clean and green the entire way. So we'll see what happens here. Alex Bergeron has the pressure applied to him right now. He starts second in this one. His championship rival, Timothy Smith, starts on the pole of the next heat race. So we've talked about those points in the heat races here. Bergeron needs to try and get max points to hold up to the number 86 car.
And with only 2 weeks to go following this week at Wheat Sport in Charlotte, those points are key. I think Aiden Beerline is in this heat race. He is one of those drivers that's just barely good on the cut line when it comes to relegation points. So he's one that wants to tack on a couple of points here this evening and get a little bit closer to retaining his license for the 2023-24 season whenever it does pop back up. He's got that license in his back pocket as the field begins to roll. And Dylan Yeager going to lead this one to green. A good qualifying effort for the 48. It's kind of been hot and cold this season for the 48 in the sprint cars, at least.
Yeah, he's had a couple of 6th place finishes throughout or actually his best finish was a 3rd. That was back, I believe, at Peevely, I-55 Raceway. But Yeager's been good here in the late model at Knoxville. He was 4th with the World Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series last season. So he definitely knows his way here around the Knoxville Raceway. And Yeager, he's been a World Championship Series winner before as well. So he doesn't really feel the pressure like some of maybe these rookies do with this series in 2023. So next time by, we'll get the green flag. Yeager and Bergeron and Forster and Kaiser. I'd say Aiden Forster, their Tim, has been one of the more impressive rookies that we've had so far this season. Has led some laps, had some top 5 finishes. He hasn't been as good as Kenny Miller by any means, but the 20 car Forster has been a guy that a lot of people, I think, have been watching and realizing, man, this guy could be in this series for a long time and be a perennial contender.
definitely turning some heads, looking at the top 15 to try to lock himself into next season. Pretty decent 2022 season for Aiden Forster. We'll roll off from position number 3 here, trying to make sure he locks into the feature event here at Knoxville. Field in command of Dylan Yeager, and he is gone. Green flag flies. We are underway in heat race number 3. Top 3 quickly get single file. We're 3 wide for 5th.
How aggressive is Bergeron here to try and take the lead away from Yeager? They are nose to tail back at the turn number 3. Third place right now is Forster, and 4th is Ross Kaiser. Bergeron turns it down the hill off of turn number 4. Gets a run on Yeager down the front straightaway. 6 behind him into turn number 1. 2 laps down, 8 to go.
There's a lot of momentum sim sport in this heat, and you see 5 of them right there on your screen as the 51 of Tilly goes down to the inside, tries to work that bottom groove. Tilly didn't get any practice in, didn't get a qualifying lap in, so this is his first lap in this session. It continues to be Bergeron and Yeager up in front, and back to the inside goes Dylan Yeager.
Yeah, Bergeron threw a slider in turn number 1. Now Yeager crosses him back up. Bergeron gets a run down the front straightaway. He will lead this lap on lap number 4. We'll see what Yeager can get back to him here. Runs the middle. Bergeron did not go to the top side and cut the momentum off on the number 48 car. He's still going to make a move into turn number 3. Dylan Yeager back to the race lead in turn number 4.
If you're Alex Bergeron here, how aggressive do you get for this position to try to get a couple of rows ahead when it comes to this starting grid? I know he wants to get this heat win. I know he wants to get those points, but Dylan Yeager looks hungry tonight.
Yeager missed the bottom right there a little bit off of turn number 4, and he's going to lose a little bit of ground to Bergeron, and I think he's got to be aggressive. Timothy Smith has been good in the heat race, but now Bergeron makes a mistake. Yeager to the left rear tire down the back straightaway. He'll look back to the inside, turns 3 and 4. Can he run the bottom decent here? Does not look like it's going to be good enough, but he sticks right with him down the front straightaway.
And oh, by the way, Aiden Forster's right here as well. Forster looking for a hole to get in here. Those couple of mistakes that you mentioned, Chase, that they traded back and forth, has opened the door for the 20, and now Forster wants a piece of this one. They'll come by with 3 to go here.
Yeah, Yeager a little bit sideways off of turn number 4, but still 2 car lengths behind the number 12 car of Alex Bergeron as they work off of 2 and down the back straightaway. Yeager is not going to let him have this one easily. Right here, if you finish in the lead of heat race number 3, you start inside of row number 2 for this feature event. Yeager knows it, and he wants to try and start up front and get a win with the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series tonight at Knoxville Raceway. But Bergeron, he is getting smaller and smaller out the rock screen. The number 48 car here as they come by with the white flag in the air.
Forster's going to want a little piece here, try to get by and make something happen as he goes up towards the wall and then back down into the inside, trying to make something happen on Dylan Yeager. And keep your eye on the battle to transfer as well between Kaiser and Avila, but up in front, it's going to be Alex Bergeron picking up the victory in this heat race. Dylan Yeager comes home with position number 2 at Forster, and you saw at the bottom of your screen, Ross Kaiser moves in, picks up that 4th and final transfer position. Going to be Avila. Beerline finishes in 6th. He's going to have to come through a last chance showdown. Heffler and Tilly complete your field. We've got 3 heat races in the books, and the final heat race is setting the grid now.
And now Timothy Smith, the ball in his court here. The number 86 car, the driver out of Fulton, Missouri, the current points leader with the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. Will start from the pole, and outside of him, the number 24 car, Tanner Pettit, out of Chico, California, from Momentum Sim Sport. Row number 2 on the inside, the number 17 car of Eric Whitner, out of Berwick, Pennsylvania, from Momentum Sim Sport. And outside of him is the number 5 car, a former winner here at Knoxville with the series in 2020. It's Braden Eiler from Elbows Up Sim Sport. Row number 3 on the inside, the number 7, that's Johnny Anderson from Newton, Iowa, for M9 Sim Sport. And outside of him is the number 50 car, Clayton Davies, for Synergy Sim Racing out of Cessnock, New South Wales, Australia. Final row in this one, the number 9 car, Tanner Miller, for Scott Thomason Racing out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And outside of him, it's his fellow Pennsylvanian, the driver out of Manchester, PA, Logan Rumsey, for Slick Sim Sport. Will start from the tail in this one. An interesting little tidbit here, Johnny Anderson rolling off from the the 5th position in this one. Actually a regular weekly competitor here in real life at Knoxville in the 360 division. We'll see if he's got anything for these guys with that real life experience tonight.
Gonna have to find at least one more position to get into a transfer spot. We've seen some great racing here in these first 3 heat races. We'll see if that 7A can move up a little bit closer towards the front. You mentioned Timothy Smith being the point leader. Tanner Pettit is coming off a podium run 1 week ago as well. So keep your eye on the 24 and see if he can rock the momentum from outside of row number 1.
And also, I talked about Johnny Anderson being a weekly competitor. I failed to mention there that your points leader and the pole sitter for this one, Timothy Smith, I talked to him last year at one of the World of Outlaws Knoxville Energy Drink Sprint Car Series races, and he told me that he plans to go full-time 360 racing at Knoxville this season as well. So Timothy Smith, not just really good on the iRacing sim, but he's going to be doing the real-life thing as well after running a little bit in Missouri last year. So Timothy Smith, he could be definitely a factor for the victory here tonight. We talked about him leading a bunch of laps so far this season. I looked prior to tonight between the heat races and the features, 180 laps led so far this season. The next closest is Hayden Cardwell with 112. So in that department, Timothy Smith has definitely been the best.
And definitely going to try to add some laps here on this one. And you can check out some of those stats, including the standings, at iRacing.com/WOOSC as the field rolls off to the back. One more heat race. We got 2 last chance showdowns. How's the racetrack looking from your vantage point?
Well, right now it's still really fast, and you see a lot of these guys running single file. But once that, if maybe we can get a different camera shot here in a moment, but there's that kind of brown, not super dark brown dirt right there in the middle part of the track. Once that gets kind of cleaned up and kind of gets blown off right here, that's when we'll start to see a lot of side-by-side racing. You'll see guys right down by that inside berm, and there's kind of a good look at it right there. There's some really dark brown right next to the wall. You see a couple guys utilizing that, but once it comes to feature time, that's not going to be there. It's going to be slick to the wall, and that's what we expect to see when it comes to that 35-lap main event, and hopefully some side-by-side racing, a couple different grooves and sliders and all that good stuff. So that's going to take probably towards the end of this next last chance showdown coming up after this heat race, but once that happens, we are definitely in for a thrill show. The pace truck is off. Timothy Smith and Tanner Pettit, 2 podium finishers from last week, are leading this field of green.
As they rumble down the front straightaway, the 17 of Whitner trying to make something happen. Eiler going to roll the outside, and almost a little contact there as the 17 went up the hill, battling with the 5 of Eiler, and there is the 7A of Anderson. It bounces off the wall, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, Anderson and Clayton Davies, the 2 cars that get together, they are out of this one. That leaves us with 6 cars battling for the 4 transfer spots up front. Race for the lead. Pettit looked to the inside for a moment at Timothy Smith, but Smith fends him off for now. Braden Eiler, definitely a guy to watch for in this one. I talked about at the top of the show a fuel mileage race. That was won by Braden Eiler back in 2020. Eiler knows how to get to victory lane here at Knoxville, and he's trying to track down the top 2.
Wants to get up there and make something happen. You see Whitner on your screen in the red 17 looking to the inside of Eiler into the 5, and that is your 4th place driver as you look on from Whitner looking up, and a battle for the lead as you can see in front of him kind of starting to brew as Pettit starts to search a little bit on Smith.
Man, Pettit really was a non-factor all season long until last week with that 3rd place run. Now he's taking the lead away from Timothy Smith. Tanner Pettit to the race lead. Back to the inside goes Timothy Smith, and here comes Braden Eiler and Eric Whitner. They will join this fight and try and make it a 4-car battle as Smith parks it on the nose of Tanner Pettit off of turn 4.
Pettit made one small mistake the last lap, and Smith tried to capitalize on that and not able to do so. And oh, by the way, it's closed in 3rd and 4th as Smith slides it in on the inside. Pettit goes back to the inside, side by side, wheel to wheel off of corner number 4. That time by, give it to Tanner Pettit.
4 laps to go. Great stuff at the front of the field. Oh, Smith hit the infield berm and nearly lost the handle on the car, but he's still going to try and put a move on Pettit, who hits the wall off of turn number 4, hangs onto it. Here comes Eiler. Timothy Smith's in trouble here, Tim.
And keep your eye at the back of this field. Tanner Miller has turned up the wick a little bit. He wants to get up here and battle with these guys, especially with Eiler and Whitner side by side for that 3rd place position. Anything can happen here in the final couple of laps. We've got 2 to go.
2 laps to go, and Timothy Smith trying to get back on the horse and reel down the number 24 of Tanner Pettit down the back straightaway. He'll try and run the bottom side of the racetrack. Pettit on the top. We'll see if it works for Smith here. I think it's too early for that, and Pettit pulls away. Now into the clutches maybe of Braden Eiler is Timothy Smith. The white flag is out for Pettit, who has been on the move the last 2 weeks here, and it continues tonight in Knoxville.
You saw that onboard a lap ago from Miller trying to catch these 4 in front, and they put on a show in this heat race. Checkered flag for Tanner Pettit, and after last week's podium, he continues to roll the momentum into Knoxville. Pettit wins, Smith in second, last week's winner. Second in this heat, Braden Eiler third, Eric Whitner in fourth. Tanner Miller tried everything he could to get there, but is going to have to settle for fifth. Johnny Anderson, Clayton Davies, and Logan Rumsey, your field. Those are the 4 heat races. We've got 2 last chance showdowns. They are coming up after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Modified DLC pack also features the Federated Auto Parts Raceway and I-55 and will be available for digital purchase on the PlayStation and Xbox stores this month.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts and by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
Welcome back to Knoxville. We have 4 heat races in the books. We've got 2 last chance showdowns coming up, where we will take the top 2 from each and move them into the 20-car A-Main this evening. Chase, who is in this first last chance showdown?
I'll tell you right now, Tim, this is not the LCS that I would want to be in if I was one of the drivers in the field tonight. The number 74, Adam Elby, going to be on the pole, the driver to Tracy, California. Outside of him is another Californian, the 49 of Ryan Avila. Row number 2 on the inside will keep it with the California family, the 52 car James Edens. And outside of him, the number 13 car Aiden Beerline. Row 3, the number 18 of Austin Sebelman, and the number 39 of Andrew Heffler. Row 4, we got the number 42 car Paul Bryan, the 51 of Clayton Tilley, and the number 07 of Hayden Cardwell. Looking over those names right there, man, oh man, how do you pick 2? Elby and Edens, they've been long-standing drivers in this series. Elby with 2 top 5s here at Knoxville alone. James Edens with a win and 3 top 5s, as well as 2 top 5s with World of Outlaws late model series as well. Beerline's got a top 5 here at Knoxville. I don't know who is going to transfer out of this one. It is going to be a dogfight to the end, but like I said, this is not the last chance showdown that I would want to be in.
Absolutely not. 2 of these coming up at you, 12 laps each, top 2 advance. We'll head to the 35-lap feature after this. And looking down the list of the drivers that have attempted to make every single event this season, Chase, we still have 6 that have made every single feature event so far. James Edens is one of those 6 lining up in this last chance showdown. And if you haven't grabbed it yet, World of Outlaws Dirt Racing available now. You can learn all the information at worldofoutlaws.com. 40-plus different racetracks, different sanctionings. You've got the multiplayer. You've got the career mode. You've got all kinds of those different divisions. Whatever you want to do with dirt racing, grab it for your favorite console, whether you're an Xbox or a PlayStation console owner. And it's one of those games that you haven't grabbed yet, Chase, you're going to want to get your hands on.
Absolutely. I mean, all the real-world drivers are involved with all the different series, whether it's the World of Outlaws Knox Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, World of Outlaws Case Late Models, the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. Even got some real-life drivers from the Dirt Car UMP Modified ranks as well. There is just so much content involved with World of Outlaws Dirt Racing, and it is an absolute blast. If you take a look at the weather conditions, a nice day here in the Sims, 71 degrees, 6-mile-per-hour winds, 59 degrees for the track temperature. And like I said, Tim, this is one of the very interesting racetracks where it is literally right in the middle of town. You could throw a football and hit a grocery store. There's the Casey's right there outside of turn number 2. And just, there's a high school right down the street as well. It's very interesting. And when the Knoxville Nationals roll around, that town is not even recognizable anymore. There's trailers and motorhomes and people camping out in people's yards. I mean, it is an absolute madhouse around that place. But we are ready to go here for this first last chance showdown. Adam Elby, Ryan Avila on the front row. Here we go.
I think we're going to have some hearts broken after this one. A very stout last chance showdown, and side by side already is Elby and Edens. Edens moves from position number 3 and is already looking, but Avila wants it back on the outside.
Update on Hayden Cardwell. He is out of this one. Got taken out on the start there, so 0-7 card. Not going to continue on. Here comes Avila to the inside of Elby, trying to take the race lead away. Do not want to be on the bubble spot here in this last chance showdown. They both know it. Elby back to the inside. James Edens lurking in the shadows. The 2019 winner here at Knoxville. Trying to catch up. Now the guy's got to pass his teammate there, Tim, as he worked back into turn 1.
Oh, by the way, Aiden Beerline's a part of this one as well. The 13 car needs to get up on the wheel. He's on the good side of the cut line for relegation, but he knows he can't afford to lose anymore.
Yeah, Adam Elby is one of those drivers he's battling with for that relegation, and now Beerline is losing a little bit of ground. He's got a car working to his inside. That's Andrew Heffler for that 4th position, as it looks like Avila has pulled away just a little bit here from Adam Elby. Avila a little bit high off of turn number 4, but maintains the top spot, riding on board with Aiden Beerline to the inside and turn number 1 for the 3rd spot. As you can see, Beerline's got the curve monitor. That's a pretty sweet setup there.
Absolutely, it is. He's digging, trying to pick up those at least 2 positions to try to work his way in. Hard to believe we're talking about James Edens and him might not be able to make it into this feature later on. He's trying everything. He's down by the berm trying to pick up a spot. He's trying everything that he can to get by Adam Elby here.
This would be the first race all season that James Edens would not make if he cannot get into the top 2. There's only been 6 drivers all year that have made every single feature. Now he's going to lose a spot around the outside. Comes Beerline. It looks like Edens might be in trouble here as he works back to the inside of Adam Elby. It looks like the bottom might be coming into play here, Tim, as Edens rolled it real nice in turn 4.
And as we work lap number 8 to the inside,
wow.
He's been on this inside line. Beerline going to go lower and trying to get it on James Edens. I was about to ask if Edens is committed to the inside, but I think with Beerline, what he just did, you got to have to be.
Oh, man, this is going to get wild for the last couple laps of this one. Now, Edens is all the way from 4th to 2nd as the 13 car of Beerline gets the big turn down the hill, but hits the inside berm, loses ground. Now, Heffler is a part of the mix as well. 4 cars going for the 2nd spot. Elby's into the wall. Elby hit the wall before James Edens to the inside.
And Edens still trying to complete the pass on Elby. He will do so. Elby points it back to the inside as we're going to come by this next time to 2 laps to go. Edens has the position, but Elby's trying to roll the outside, and Beerline is trying to get one more run at these 2.
Yeah, I think Beerline, his time is running out. He's got to put together 2 really good laps here if he wants any shot at the number 52 car of James Edens, but he is riding off into the sunset, as is the 49 car of Ryan Avila, untouched since about lap 2. White flag is out for Avila, and Edens looks to be pulling away here, and he might be able to keep that streak alive.
James Edens dug deep in these last few laps to try to pick up position number 2. It looks like he will do so as they battle behind him. Up in front of him, Ryan Avila picks up the last chance showdown at number 1 event win. James Edens comes home in 2nd, and they were bouncing off each other for position number 3. Not that it really matters, they didn't get into the feature, but Beerline's going to take it over Heffler and Elby for 3rd. Semmelman, Bryan, and Cardwell complete your field in LCS number 1. The 2nd last chance showdown and final race to get into this feature is up next.
Mason Hannigan's going to be on the pole of this one, the driver of car number 1. Outside of him is the number 9 car of Tanner Miller. Row number 2 on the inside, the 16 car, that is Blake Giglio. And outside of him, the number 7 of Johnny Anderson. Row 3, the 11, driven by Kenny Hoffman. And outside of him is the number 50 car, Clayton Davies. With row number 4 showing us the number 174 car of Loic Bernier and the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Rounding out the field, the number 22 car, Bryce Lucius. So 9 cars in this one as opposed to 8 in the last one. And we talked about it being a dogfight. Actually, there was 9 in the last one, excuse me. But we talked about the dogfight in the last one. This one, I can't put 2 guys on my list. Maybe Mason Hannigan, I think, has got to be a lock for this one. But after that, maybe Logan Rumsey, but he starts way back in 8th. This one's tough to say.
So Hannigan missed a race earlier this season. By the way, if you want more information on this series, you can head to iRacing.com/WOOSC. Hannigan missed 1 race earlier this season. Every other race that he has attempted to qualify for, he has qualified for. So you have to believe, I think on paper, he's probably the favorite in this one, but then who do you pick? Kenny Hoffman's had a couple of good weeks leading into his first feature advancement a couple of weeks ago. Loic Bernier had the wrong end of the stick with, I believe, he and Bryce Lucius battling in that heat race, so it was an early exit for him. Logan Rumsey is really good when we go racing on Monday nights, but he's behind the 8 ball as well. Johnny Anderson, talked about him racing here in real life. There's a lot to look at here in this LCS.
There's a lot to look forward to here with the rest of this season. Weed Sport next Monday night, January 23rd, and we cap it all off at Charlotte. But Weed Sport is kind of a wild card there, Tim. I don't know if you've ever called a race from Weed Sport or watched a race from Weed Sport, but it is the weirdest shaped track, dirt track I should say, that I have personally ever been to, and it provides some super interesting racing. I think that's going to be a wild card for this championship. It's kind of like Daytona almost in NASCAR. So things will get really interesting next week at Weed Sport. Do not want to miss that one as we, head into Charlotte. Here's a look at the inside berm in turn number 1, I believe. Actually, yeah, that is turn number 1. And you can kind of it's hard to tell, where that berm starts and where it kind of ends at there, Tim. But there you go. The pace truck helped you out, and these drivers will help you out as they run over it right there. But man, oh man, if you can run that thing right, especially in real life, we've seen that can pay dividends for you. But if you run it wrong, it can really upset your car, like we've seen a couple of guys do here as they turn it down the hill. They don't quite, turn the wheel just right, but they run that berm over. It upsets the car, gets them sideways down the straightaway. We're going to see that really come into play in this feature, Tim, when it gets really slick and you got to slow down and hit that berm.
And we saw in that last LCS where the 52 of James Eden's kind of running the middle of the racetrack to the bottom, and then Beerline kind of stuck it down to the bottom of the berm a couple of times to try to make that Hail Mary last-ditch effort to get by and pick up 2 spots, but wasn't able to. So we'll see who tries the inside, who tries to get down there, and if you're in the case of your leader, if you can pull away from those guys battling for that bubble spot.
What's going to be tough as well is those drivers that are running that turn down line. They enter it on the top and they kind of turn it down the hill to the bottom. The middle part of the racetrack is getting slicker and slicker, so it's going to be tougher to get that car turned and pointed straight without spinning the tires in the center of the corner. So we'll see if anybody can master that and put that to good use here in this last chance showdown as we work off of turn number 4. Mason Hannigan and Tanner Miller lead them to green.
Hannigan with a great start, going down into corner number 1, battle for second. Giglio up the hill, allows Miller to turn back down to the inside. They'll go wheel to wheel off at turn number 2. The 16 of Giglio almost got the wall, and now he's going to deal with the 9 in front of him.
Tanner Miller right now in that second spot as they come across to complete lap number 1. Third position is the 16 of Giglio. Here comes the 7 of Johnny Anderson right up next to the wall, and Logan Rumsey's already dispatched of a couple of cars. He's up into the 5th spot.
Continues to move up as Logan Rumsey tries to get position number 4 away as you chase these cars around the racetrack. Rumsey just barely to the inside, gets to the inside of the 7A of Anderson, tries to make that move and can't do it down there.
Yeah, this is a cool drone view right here from the guys at iRacing. Great I have not seen that camera angle before, and it looks awesome here as they work down the front straightaway. Back into turn number 1. Big slider for the 5th spot. Whoa, Rumsey got to get himself in trouble trying to drive around the slider. He's into the wall, and his race is over. That slider came in from the number 50 car of Clayton Davies, who's up into 5th now.
It has some work to do to try to catch a couple of cars in front of him and to at least get a couple of spots and make this happen. Hannigan and Miller are your current transfer cars. The third place driver is Giglio in the 16, and he's hoping to get up here and make something happen. But Anderson down to the inside as the 16 might have got the fence that time.
And Johnny Anderson not out of this thing quite yet, especially with how close the top two are. I don't think Tanner Miller's going to settle for that second spot, as he's almost doing, the two-car tandem as they work down the back straightaway. They are right there neck and neck for first and second. Here comes Giglio to make it a three-car train down the front straightaway.
You look back from Tanner Miller as he battles for the lead, and he has got a handful of steering wheel trying to keep ahead of Giglio and trying to put Mason Hannigan in his rearview mirror, trying to play a little bit of offense but keep the defense behind you.
He gets the turn down the hill right there. Giglio did. He got a good run. Now here comes the move for the race lead. Tanner Miller up the racetrack, takes the lead away. What a move there from Miller, but Hannigan back to the inside, does not want to give it up that easy. You do not want to be on bubble here with the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. 4 laps to go this time by, and Giglio is right there as well.
The 16 trying to drive it over the top and try to get something out of this one. Davies closing in as well. Top two putting on a show. Miller to the outside, Hannigan to the inside as they come by this time to complete lap number 9. They've still got 3 laps remaining in this one. Miller to the inside again.
He just trimmed the mustache there on the number 9 car of Tanner Miller. He crosses back to the inside, takes the race lead away, and Giglio, this is exactly what he needs to catch up to these guys, but he's not really catching them that much. As a little bit of a close call entering turn 1 there, as Miller came across the nose of Hannigan. Here comes the number 16 of Giglio, and who's that behind him? The 50 of Davies as well.
We saw Davies a little bit earlier be a little aggressive with Rumsey, and he goes back to the inside as you ride on board with Mason Hannigan in second. But he's got his hands full in behind him too as Davies up the hill. The 16 of Giglio goes back to the inside. That's the best thing the top two can see here as they come down to the checkered flag, this time by Hannigan to the inside of Miller. They're battling for third in behind, but they're not going to get to the top two. Tanner Miller picks up the last chance showdown win. What a race in that one at the end. Hannigan in second. Davies, Giglio, Lucius, Anderson, Rumsey, Hoffman, and Bernier complete your field. Miller and Hannigan moving on to the feature event, and that's all that's left on the card. 35 laps coming up next.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
The World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts. And by World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Drive like an outlaw. Available now on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5.
If you do not have World of Outlaws Dirt Racing yet, what are you waiting for? Head over to worldofoutlaws.game.com and check out all the content, all the DLCs. You have the career mode, you have multiplayer. There's so much to do on World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. pick it up for your Xbox or PlayStation console and get in on it and chase. There's so much to do, so many fun racetracks, so many fun cars. You're going to be there for hours and hours.
Oh, absolutely. There is more content coming as well. So very excited to see all the hype and, the good reviews, the raving reviews for this new World of Outlaws game, one that hasn't been seen in a very long time. So it's great to have one once again with all this updated content as well. But we are now ready for tonight's feature for round number 8 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. Here is tonight's starting lineup. On the pole, the driver looking for his first career win with the series. Driver out of Beaumessine, Vermont, number 25, Tyler Ducharme. He is driving for Slick Simsport. Outside of number 23 car, that's Kenny Miller III out of Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Row 2 on the inside, the 2-time series champion and 3-time Knoxville winner out of Drummondville, Quebec, Canada. It's Alex Bergeron. Outside of the 24 car, Tanner Pettit from Chico, California. Row 3 on the inside, the number 33 car, Evan C. out of Chesney, South Carolina. And outside of him, it's the 14 car, J.D. Brown out of Bakersfield, California. Row number 4, you have the number 48 car. That's Dylan Yeager of the Hamilton Township, New Jersey. And outside of him, current points leader with the series, the 86 of Timothy Smith out of Fulton, Missouri. Row 5 on the inside, the 00 car, Kendall Tucker from Mount Airy, North Carolina. And outside of him, the number 5 of Braden Eiler. He's from Franklin, Pennsylvania. Row 6, the number 20 car out of Cass City, Michigan. It's Aiden Forster. Oh, sorry, I messed that up. We got Tucker and then Shell on the outside of row number 5. Shell is out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. Then Forster out of Cass City, Michigan. Eiler out of Franklin, Pennsylvania in row number 6. Excuse me there. Row 7, the number 127. That's Blake Majulis. He's out of Jamestown, New York. And outside of him, there's the 60 car Sean English. English out of Brandon, Florida. Row 8, the number 4, Ross Kaiser. He's out of San Jose, California. And outside of him, the number 17 car, Eric Whitner out of Berwick, Pennsylvania. Row 9, your transfers out of Last Chance Showdown. The 49 of Ryan Avila from Lemoore, California. The 9 of Tanner Miller from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And your final 2 starters for this one, the number 52 car, James Edens from Santa Rosa, California. And the 1 of Mason Hannigan out of Pittsboro, Indiana. 20 cars, 35 laps, round number 8 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series.
And Chase, we're at Knoxville Raceway. For those that might have missed the heats in the Last Chance Showdowns, what do you expect out of this place tonight?
Well, they tuned in at just the right time, and I'm looking at the racetrack right now, Tim, and they did not do anything to it after those Last Chance Showdowns. It is going to start off slick, and it is going to start out exciting. There is going to be 2 grooves right here, no problem at all. And there's going to be guys trying different things. You're going to see guys trying the slider line, entering it on the bottom, getting to the top on the exit of the corner, and doing the opposite, the turn down the hill. Guys entering on the top, turning it down to the bottom. And then obviously you're going to have guys rolling the bottom nice and slow and steady with the wing way back, and guys trying to rip the top side of the racetrack, as we say, sell some T-shirts. And if you're on the bottom, you're trying to pay the virtual tire bill here, as there's a good look at the 20-car field here tonight. Tanner Pettit, 24 car right there, looking for back-to-back podiums after getting 0 top 10s throughout the first 6 races of the campaign.
Yeah, Pettit has definitely put on a show the last couple of weeks. There's the 86 on your screen as well. For more information on iRacing, be sure to head to iRacing.com. Timothy Smith starts 9th, I believe. You got Alex Bergeron starting up in position number 3. So Smith 8, Bergeron 3. So there's a little bit of difference there when it comes to that. And then James Edens coming back from 19th. You talked about this racetrack being slick. Can a guy like James Edens come from 19th to come into the front?
Oh, absolutely. If he gets a couple cautions timed right, then I think he can. Remember back in the late model series with the World of Outlaws Buckhacker late model series, I remember Blake Majulis coming out of the Last Chance Showdown in that one and challenging for the victory in a caution-free affair. But that one was a 50-lap race, so extra 15 times around the racetrack. But if James Edens could get a couple of cautions, timely ones, and he makes a couple passes here and there, I think Edens could definitely challenge for a top 5 here tonight. He has went to victory lane here at Knoxville back in 2019. But another guy to watch for, another storyline here, the 25 of Tyler Ducharme, 2 or 3 year series veteran, looking for his first ever win with the series. The driver out of Beaumessine, Vermont. It'd be a big one here tonight at Knoxville.
Yeah, can it come this evening in round number 8 of the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series, powered by iRacing? Beautiful day at Knoxville as we get ready to throw the green flag. Lights atop the pace truck are off, and next time by, we will let them loose. Tyler Ducharme, Kenny Miller, your front row, Bergeron, Pettit, and C, your top 5. And C looking to get a little more advantage when it comes to that top 15 relegation line, as he will start this one on the inside of row number 3. Tyler Ducharme going to lead this field to green. We've seen the pole sitter get a fairly good jump on the heat races in the last chance shutouts. Looks like the same thing will happen here in the feature. Green flag is out. We are underway for round number 8 at Knoxville, and Tyler Ducharme gets a good advantage up front.
And Bergeron's able to slide in front of Kenny Miller for the second spot. Miller turns it back to the inside, down the back straightaway for the very first time here. 1 lap complete, 34 to go. There goes Miller back up in front of Bergeron. He's challenged on the inside by C, and now here comes Pettit as well, the 24 car, trying to get involved as well. Look at Ducharme running the middle part of the racetrack early on in this one. Also doing that is the 33 of Evan C.
And definitely working for him up in front as Miller goes to the inside, the 12 of Bergeron to the upside. Bergeron trying to make it happen on the upstairs groove. The 24 of Pettit once again trying to get on the podium after last week as you look back from Bergeron.
Yeah, Bergeron now closing in quickly on Ducharme. He's going to try and make the move on the inside of the racetrack in turn number 4. Alex Bergeron on the bottom, side by side for the top spot down the front straightaway. Who led the lap? I believe Bergeron had it at the line, and now he takes the lead away from the 25 of Tyler Ducharme quickly from third to the lead in the first 4 laps. The 3-time series winner here at Knoxville, Alex Bergeron at the top spot.
Bergeron back to the front in this series. The 25 of Tyler Ducharme now in second, and they're almost 3 wide for position number 3. They're almost 3 wide here as well as Tyler Schell tries to get through traffic.
Yeah, good stuff here from about 10th place on back. Tyler Schell battling with Blake Majulis, also the 00 car of Kendall Tucker. What a move right there on the outside. Oh, big wreck in front of him. Couple cars get together. Up at the front, I believe Tanner Pettit maybe be one of them. I did not see what happened there, but a huge incident taking out a couple of drivers, I think inside the top 5. We'll have to take a look at the CarQuest replay here, Tim, and see what happened. Coming down the front straightaway, somebody in the top 5 definitely got together. We'll have to get a closer look at it here in just a moment.
I think we're going to see that it's Kenny Miller and Tanner Pettit making the contact to spark everything off, but 23 may have had a little bit of help getting out of the groove as we get ready to look at the CarQuest replay to see what brought out our first caution. Regardless, it was pretty big.
Yeah, big wreck. A lot of cars getting involved here. Here is the 23 car of Kenny Miller, the 3rd. Right behind him, the 24 of Tanner Pettit. Racing for 2nd here. Ducharme kind of cuts him off at the end of the back straightaway. Then, Pettit. Oh, man, that's tough to say what happened exactly there. Who would be at fault? But Braden Eiler, oh, man, Tanner Miller gets involved. Eric Whitner. I can't tell who the other car was there at the tail end of the field. Here is a onboard shot here. Wow, great dodge right there from, who is that? I believe that might have been Timothy Smith. Oh, no, that's J.D. Brown, actually, that makes the avoidance there. And he moves up to 4th. Also, Timothy Smith misses that wreck. He's up into the top 5.
And that's a big thing for the 86 car of Timothy Smith. With Alex Bergeron leading, you cannot afford to lose any points or lose any positions to try to put yourself behind the 8 ball. And Bergeron and Ducharme, first couple laps, back and forth, battling for the lead. Bergeron has the advantage right now as we get ready to see a restart for the first time this evening, and Evan C. is going to move his way to 3rd.
Yeah, Evan C. is a guy I want to watch for here for the rest of this race. He was super good here with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series. I believe he was the winner in 2022 with World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series, and he is just so good at every track, a roll in the middle or roll in the bottom side of the racetrack. And the 33 car right now sitting in P3 could definitely play spoiler in this one. And you know, we've seen it in the Late Model Series, we've seen it in the Sprint Car Series. Evan C., Alex Bergeron, those two don't exactly get along, just to say the least there. So if they get together or they get racing hard, we could see some interesting fireworks at the front of the field, maybe put Tyler Ducharme in a good spot to steal the victory here. But the pace truck is off. We got 6 in and 29 to go. Bergeron back on the gas.
And the green flag set to fly from Barney, and we'll be underway in this one. The 33 looks to the inside of the 25. C trying to get it around Ducharme as they battle down the back straightaway, and as they battle, Bergeron starting to extend the lead.
Timothy Smith to the inside right behind those two guys for the 4th position, trying to get by J.D. Brown, cannot do it. Brown holds on to 4th down the front straightaway. 25 of Ducharme and the 33 of C through the middle. Bergeron's on the top, and Smith is on the very inside berm. So definitely 3 grooves of racing to work with here at Knoxville tonight, and it looks like Bergeron is just pulling away at this point in time as here comes a race for 2nd. Evan C. is going to take it away.
Watching the middle of the pack here, we said at the very start of the show that Majulis needed to go if he wanted to get into the top 15 in points, and he's trying to do that right now. But Tyler Schell, there's a guy that's involved as you see the battle for position number 2 now on your screen as C goes back to the inside of the 25, a Ducharme, and in behind J.D. Brown, catching up the 25 back to the inside.
Wow, close call there off the corner. Here comes J.D. Brown to make it a 3-car race, and Timothy Smith's trying to get involved as well. He goes to the very inside, alongside 4 wide off the corner for the second spot. Good stuff off of turn number 4. J.D. Brown goes from 4th to P2 in 1 corner.
And Timothy Smith was on the bottom of that 4 wide, and now he goes to the outside trying to make something happen. C to the inside of Brown. Evan C will look to pick up the runner-up spot as the 14 has to go back and drive it back down to the inside. Where do you watch your great battles? Battle for second, battle for 6 as Tyler Schell is on the move. Question is, how far does he get up this running order? Can he crack the top 5?
Wow, Tyler Schell definitely flying through the field here, like you mentioned there, from 10th up to about the 6th position now for the 85 car. He is doing a good job to try and mitigate a points hit here tonight. Oh, caution has come out here. We've got a yellow flag. Car upside down in a huge way down the front straightaway, actually flipping into the infield, is the number 4 of Ross Kaiser. We'll have to take a look at the replay here to see what exactly caused that, but when I got to it, Ross Kaiser was about 5 stories off the ground there after a huge hit into the turn 4 wall. But that is going to slow things down here on lap number 13. Still plenty of time for somebody to make a couple of moves here. Looking for James Edens. Edens, man, he's only gotten up to about 15th place, so his car maybe just not quite as good as he was hoping for here tonight. But CarQuest replay coming up right now.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay. It is the 4 of Ross Kaiser, and he's going to get into the wall here, and he's going to climb it. You mentioned being 5 stories up. He's going to get it right here, and then it just goes up the hill, and hard hit there, and did a couple of rollovers, but that's probably going to end the night for Ross Kaiser, and he will finish in 19th. I'm showing Tanner Pettit as 20th place, 6 laps down, so he's done for the evening, as is Ross Kaiser. He is put it into the virtual trailer. He is done for the evening. So we remain with 18 cars on the lead lap, and Alex Bergeron now has company in J.D. Brown in second.
I'm just hoping Ross Kaiser didn't have the VR headset on right there, else he probably would have gotten some motion sickness after all those flips. But yeah, Bergeron up front, J.D. Brown, what a move for him up into the 2nd spot. He started back in 6th, so he's moved up through the field pretty nicely here. 17th to 10th also for Ryan Avila after transferring in out of the Last Chance Showdown. He's up to 10th from 17th, 20th to 12th for Mason Hannigan. So definitely some movers and shakers in this one. We have had a couple of incidents, though, to help those guys out. But nonetheless, Avila, Hannigan, and J.D. Brown making moves.
Yeah, when you look at James Eaton's back there, hasn't been able to move a whole lot. He's up to position number 15. Tyler Schell was battling for 6th and kind of knocking on the door of a top 5 run. He has scored in position number 7. So plenty of drivers trying to make moves here as we get closer to the halfway point in this one. A little bit of a slower pace compared to the last couple of rounds, but we'll see if Bergeron can continue to lead some laps here. The 14 of J.D. Brown in second as we get ready to go green, and let's go full throttle. chase. This battle for third continues to be intense. You saw a lot of battles during that full throttle, but battle for third is now Timothy Smith to the inside of the 14 of J.D. Brown. Evan C. somehow has pulled away from this, and Alex Bergeron has pulled away from the field.
Yeah, this is a really entertaining battle for this third spot. Multiple lines being used up here by the number 14 of J.D. Brown and the 86 of Timothy Smith. Now Smith going to try and throw a slider, no pill run the middle part of the racetrack. Might be able to make the pass on J.D. Brown down into turn number 1 this time by. Great run here for Timothy Smith, who started back in 9th position up into 3rd. Him and Bergeron came in separated by 4 points for this main event. So Smith is trying to mitigate that points hit that might happen here. Bergeron can hang on for the win.
Bergeron trying to hold on and up in front. 1 second, pulled away. This is the Alex Bergeron show this evening. Battle for second is not a battle anymore. It's a battle for third, and Timothy Smith has taken it away from J.D. Brown, and Brown in the wall off of the corner, and he's going to lose 2 spots.
Yeah, he falls back to the 6th spot as Tyler Schell now up into the 4th position right there. Schell gets by 2 cars on that lap, Ducharme and Brown. So the top 3 in the points now inside the top 4. Ducharme back to the inside of him as you see J.D. Brown trying to recover after that incident. You're riding on board here with Hayden Forster.
And how about the run by Ryan Avila up the hill? He is currently in position number 6 and trying to make one more spot at least happen to get into the top 5 after starting 17th this evening. What a run for the 49.
Yeah, Avila from the Last Chance Showdown has made his way through the field, and that's kind of what I was expecting to see James Edens do here tonight, but just the car not quite there for him as Avila really ripping the top of the racetrack. There's Bergeron. Now we're here with, I believe that is the Speed Shop 51 car driven by, is that Avila?
I think that's Avila's Ducharme right there,
yes.
almost into his nose as he battles it out for what would be a top 5 position. He has come a long way in this one. Forster right ahead of him, and well, it's now Ducharme right ahead of him. Slider up there by Forster as they continue to battle it out with less than 10 laps to go this time by, and man, oh man, these guys just can't stay off each other. What a great battle.
Yeah, this is good stuff here, and cars are all over the racetrack. It's just, you don't know which line to use here, really. You could go to the top side and run that cushion, but if you make a mistake like we saw J.D. Brown do, you're going to lose wholesale positions. There goes Avila. He ran it nice off of turn number 4, got by Forster, who now tries to throw a slider on him. He'll clear it off of turn number 2. Avila crosses back to the inside. This is the race for the 4th position. Good stuff here between the 20 and the 49. 2 rookies in 2023.
Continuing to go back and forth for those positions, looking for a top 5 effort for both of them. Schell trying to get away from these two battling for position number 5. And Evan C., Alex Bergeron have no pressure from behind, and actually Timothy Smith has pulled away from a Tyler Schell by a second.
Yeah, the top 4 really separated by a ton as Forster and Avila continue to kind of exchange lines and do different things with each other back there, trying to figure out who wants to run in that 5th spot. Back behind them is Tyler Ducharme, who started on the pole this race. He's dropped way behind the field. Blake Majulis behind him. He's up to 8th position after starting 13th. So a good run here tonight for the 127 after struggling for most of the season.
Yeah, the best battle on the racetrack. You saw those two out and back battling as Majulis and Ducharme go at it for what is position number 7. Forster and Avila right up the hill, or right up the road battling for that position as well. But a couple of 2-car battles within the top 10, top 3, top 4 pretty much have it settled. And Blake Majulis trying to get one more here at the end with just a few laps left.
And Timothy Smith, don't look now, but he's actually catching Evan C. a little bit. Still a pretty good gap, but he's ran about 0.2 faster a lap the last couple of times by. So that could be crucial points here for the 86 car. He catches him a lot off of turn number 2 that time by. And like I said, that would be crucial. He would leave still the point leader, but it would only have it by 1, but would still be huge here if he can get by Evan C. with 2 laps to go.
Been keeping a half eye on the battle behind them for position number 5. Forster and Avila have been throwing sliders at each other the last couple of laps, trying to get that final spot. As there is the 86 of Smith right there on Evan C., looking to make something happen. This is the 2nd place position. This could be the difference in between the championship or not as they take the white flag. A final lap in this one for round number 8. It's all Alex Bergeron up in front after a couple of rocky weeks up and down. Was on the podium last week and comes back this time and is going to pick up a checkered flag at Knoxville. Your winner for round number 8 is Alex Bergeron. Evan C. comes home with 2nd with Timothy Smith breathing down his neck at the end of it. Schell and Forster, your top 5, but you have to believe after the middle of this season, Bergeron breathing a sigh of relief. He's really coming to his own in these last few races.
Yeah, last week we saw, Timothy Smith hold up to the pressure from Bergeron, and tonight Bergeron doesn't feel the pressure, pulls away by a large margin, and is able to take the points lead back away with just 2 races left to run. So a great job tonight by Alex Bergeron as we are ready to take a look at the full results tonight.
Alex Bergeron is your winner. Evan C., Timothy Smith, top 3 podium finishers. We'll chat with them in just a few moments. Tyler Schell and Aiden Forster, your top 5. Ryan Avila and Forster were putting on a show for position number 5 at the end of that one. Avila in 6th from 17th this evening. Your pole sitter Ducharme back to 7th at the end of this one. Blake Majulis doing what he has to do, picks up another top 10 effort in 8th. Mason Hannigan and Dylan Yeager complete your top 10. 11th through 20th sees Kenny Miller, Eric Whitner, James Edens up from the back of the field, Tanner Miller, JD Brown, your top 15, and those drivers that were on the racetrack at the end of the race. Kendall Tucker, Sean English, Braden Eiler, Ross Kaiser, Tanner Pettit, Early Knight. For those final 5, they round out your field for round number 8 here at Knoxville. And man, what this was the Alex Bergeron show all night long.
Yeah, it sure was, and I think we are ready to talk to tonight's feature winner for the 4th time in his career here at Knoxville Raceway. Alex Bergeron, you are a winner again here at the sprint car capital of the world, and I would say doing it at just the right time with just 2 races left, able to take the point lead away, and man, oh man, this looks like it's going to be an exciting one down to the end.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great race. We started in the front, so it definitely helped us out, and the top came in for us, and we tried a different couple lines, but top seemed to be the quicker way, and there at the end we just ran the bottom, try it, and seemed to be very safe, so we kept on the bottom, and I finished the race pretty clean. So
I think you'll have, I'm not going to try and calculate, but maybe 2 or 3 points over Timothy Smith heading into Weed Sport next week. And speaking of Weed Sport, I feel like that place is just such a wild card. Was talking about it earlier on in the broadcast tonight, that place, I mean, who knows what can happen at Weed Sport. That place, like I said, it's the weirdest shaped racetrack that we go to, and a lot of things can happen there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, I mean, the track is, like you said, the shape is different than other tracks, so we really got to take care of that and take care of our equipment and run a safe line. And sometimes you have to really push hard there, so sometimes the slider line comes in 1 and 2, and you have to run top very hard in 3 and 4, and the wall kind of cuts out of 4, so really got to pay attention and make no mistakes there.
Well, Alex, you get the 2nd win of the season. 2 races left to run for $10,000. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Alex Bergeron, the winner tonight here at the Knoxville Raceway. 2nd position tonight was the driver of car number 33. That is Evan C. And, well, I just made a mistake there. Is Evan C. Sorry about that. Is a 2nd place run here tonight. And, it hasn't been exactly the season I think you were hoping for after the late models with the sprint car deal here. But, a P2 to kind of, heading towards the end of the year, you got to be pretty happy with how things went tonight.
Yeah, I felt like tonight was going to be pretty strong for us. I always had good runs on this track. And, like you said, we just had some bad luck a lot of the season. I felt like we've been really fast and, should have been in the top 5 about every week. Just, always something seems like what happened to us in a heat, but, tonight we was able to qualify good and, get a decent starting spot. And, like I said, I felt like if I could stay out of trouble in the race, we'd have a good chance at running good or, even battling for the lead.
Now, speaking of battling for the lead, what did you need to do differently there to get up to Alex? It seemed like he could put his car just about anywhere on the racetrack, and it was pretty fast. We saw you work in the middle, the first part of the race, then the top, then the bottom. It seemed like, there wasn't one distinct line here today. You could go just about anywhere on the racetrack. What did you need to do different to get up to Alex?
Yeah, it took me a while to get around, into second on that start. So he was, probably already a second out ahead, and I didn't expect a top to be that fast for most of the race. It was pretty fast. I think the only reason Alex moved down was just because he had a lead. I don't think he was any faster on the bottom. I'm sure he would have been faster on the top staying up because I know Tim was way faster than me on the top. But, the only reason I moved down because I was going to run out of fuel unless I didn't move down. So, I just didn't put enough fuel in it to blast that top and had to move down and save. And, if I wouldn't have moved down, I would have definitely run out.
Well, Evan, it's good to see you back here on the podium, and we'll see if you can do it again next week at Weed Sport. Nice job tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Happen to see P2 here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. P3, Timothy Smith from, I believe, the 9th starting spot. And, well, Timothy, you can't always win every race, and you can't always beat your championship rivals in every race. But tonight, you did exactly what you needed to do and, kept Alex as close as you possibly could. Obviously, you could have gotten second, but you kept him close and kept this thing alive as far as the championship goes heading into the last 2 races.
I mean, that's all we can ask for, man. It's been a great season so far. It's another top 3, and which I've gotten on in my rookie season last year. So it's been an amazing season with M9 Performance.
Now, next week at Weed Sport, how confident are you in your abilities at that place? Because we've seen some crazy stuff go down there, and I was talking about earlier, almost comparing it to Daytona and NASCAR as far as things go with, cutoff races and whatnot. We're going into that place and then have one after that. So what do you expect from Weed Sport?
Weed Sport, we just got to do the same thing, keep the battle going until the last race. I mean, that's all we can ask for at the end of the day. As a driver and as the car goes, we feel really good at Charlotte, so we're just going to try to keep the battle going until then.
Well, Timothy, we are excited to watch it go down next week. I believe the 23rd on Monday at Weed Sport. Nice job tonight. Maybe we'll talk to you again next week.
Yep, see you later, man. Just got to thank Tiger Towing, TSR, Stewart House, BPM, Automotive Specialist, Wolf Pumps, 129 Racing, and 9 Performance.
All right, Timothy Smith with his 6th top 5 finish of the year with the World of Outlaws CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Series. And, Tim, that's all we've got for our interviews here tonight. And like we've talked about a couple times, 2 races left to run. There it is, Alex Bergeron, just a 2-point lead. They swapped spots. It was 2 points, it was 5 entering the night. And now Bergeron has it with just 2 over Timothy Smith.
Tyler Schell keeping himself alive with the run that he had this evening, and then James Edens, Kendall Tucker, J.D. Brown gonna probably need a little bit of help with 2 races to go. Blake Majulis 39 back from Aiden Beerline coming in, and Beerline didn't have the night that he wanted to either, so Majulis closing in and trying to get everything that he can at the end of this one, albeit 2 races to go. He's going to need to be on top of his game and hope for somebody maybe in front of him in the top 15 to make a stumble. You mentioned next week's racetrack. Here it is, Weed Sport. What do you think we're going to see?
Man, Tim, this place is just so crazy. I've been here a couple times in real life, and we've seen some, World Championship races held here at Weed Sport as well. January 23rd, next Monday. One of the best facilities in racing. I think it's a bucket list racetrack for any dirt racing fan to go to, but it's just so unique. It gets so slick there. There's not really much of a cushion that gets built up on the wall, but you got to run up there to be fast, or you got to go really, really, really slow around the bottom. Just look at the backstretch. You're always turning down the backstretch. Both corners are, kind of differently shaped, and the wall's not, even all the way around. It's got some, spots where it's kind of, it goes in and goes out, like we heard Alex talking about a little bit there. So it's just a wild card, man, and who knows who's going to come out on top there. I remember last year's race was pretty wild as well. So super excited. Next Monday, January 23rd, 9 p.m. We'll do it all again.
And with only 2 races to go, this one is going to set up for a great finish heading to the dirt track at Charlotte to close off our season. 2 rounds going to determine a champion, and Alex Bergeron. It was the Bergeron show up in front. He takes the point lead by 2 heading in to next week's racing action. That's going to do it for us from Knoxville this evening. So for our entire iRacing production crew and Chase Rodman, my name is Tim Terry. We will see you next week from Weed Sport. Until then, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.